everybody. Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and well, I finally watched it. I finally watched Madam Web. Hooray! So, like, out of all the bad Sony movies that have come out recently, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the first Venom, then there was Morbius. I somehow managed to not see any of them except for the first Venom, right? And I kind of liked the first Venom. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't see second Venom, and I definitely did not watch Morbius just because I didn't get the chance to yet, I guess. I don't know. But Madam Web was somehow the one I managed to be able to watch, not in theaters like I originally intended to, but on Netflix. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to tell you what I think about it. I know it got a lot of, negativity surrounding it, but I'm going to tell y'all what I really think. What I truly think of this movie, Madam Web. But before I get into it, I want to remind you guys, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, or X. And Twitch, where I do the podcast /BrickWall with my friends. And I'm also heavily invested in multiverses. So you catch me on there playing a lot. If you want to go ahead and join in, come on, join me. Play multiverses with me. Play Tekken with me. Play Mortal Kombat with me. Play Fortnite with me. I do a lot of gaming on there. So, and now that I'm done with God of War for the most part, minus the Valhalla DLC, I'm definitely open to playing any and all games, especially battle royale party games. So come rock with your boy. But anyway, that's enough about Twitch right now, because it's time to talk about Madam Web. So directed by S.J. Clarkson, who also wrote the screenplay. Was part of the group of writers who wrote the screenplay. This movie stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor, Tahar Rahim, Mike Epps, Emma Roberts, and Adam Scott. A pretty good cast. All right. Okay, step by step. I'm laughing. You'll see why. So this movie is about Cassandra Webb, who is a New York City paramedic who starts to show signs of clairvoyance. Forced to confront, that means you can see the future, I think. Forced to confront revelations about her past, she must protect 3 young women from a mysterious adversary or spider person who wants them dead. This was released on Valentine's Day this year. Okay, so let me talk about the good in this film, okay? Because despite what everybody says, there are some good things in this film. There's some good things, right? Some good things in here. So, number one, some of the action is not that bad, okay? The future vision thing that she does, in all honesty, and I know I just did that long pause, but I did that for comedic effect. Honestly, though, there are some action scenes that are pretty cool, like her being able to see into the future and kind of like adapt to the situation based off of what she sees. Like they show her living through the event first, kind of like the Final Destination, right? Like in Final Destination, like when they see the car crash or something happen, and then all of a sudden it shows that it was just the vision the whole time. So they go and try to change it. It's something like that. So it's like that's always kind of like inherently a little interesting, because it's like, oh man, they just saw this thing go completely off the rails. How are they going to fix it? How are they going to stop it? How are they going to avoid it? Is that going to then cause another incident? So it's a lot of different inceptions that you can have. And I say inceptions because it's like, okay, well, this was the vision within a vision. Did they stop this one? Oh no, it turns out this was the vision the entire time. Like stuff like that. The movie doesn't go that far, but what it does with that is actually pretty cool, because especially when Madam Web kind of gets, or Cassandra rather, gets used to her ability to be able to see into the future. So that's pretty interesting. The character dynamics between Adam Scott, who plays Ben Parker, go figure, and Cassandra are kind of interesting. It's good. It's used a lot for padding, but they have good chemistry on screen. I like the 3 female leads, Isabella Merced, Sydney Sweeney, and Celeste O'Connor. I think they do pretty good. you know, they do good with what they were given. They're not horrible. You know, I like their interactions and stuff. I wish I would have got a little bit more from them. And I did say some of the action scenes were cool, specifically with the bad guy who was played by let me see here, who was the bad guy? What was his name? Ezekiel Sims, played by Tahar Rahim. I like that he you know, he was the guy that in the trailer was dressed in like the black suit that looks like Spider-Man, but it's not Spider-Man, it's Ezekiel Sims. I do like some of his action scenes. They are pretty good. They are pretty you know, they do get a little intense sometimes. So yeah, so those are the things that are good about it. And you know, you know, yeah, those are the things I liked. And so now for the things that we don't like about this movie. Golly. So some of the acting in this movie is like, okay, so especially in the beginning, like not all the acting is bad, but there are some key moments where the acting is just like, oh god, y'all didn't want to be here, right? And so in the beginning with Cassandra's mom, that she's in the Amazon with the what Ezekiel Sims and shit. She says one of the lines, like she just really does not want to be there. She's like, you know, I'm researching spiders in the Amazon jungle. I can't believe this shit. Like, it's kind of crazy. And there's like another part where she's like mid-sentence. So she's like, let's say, for example, I'm talking about this roll of tape, right? And mind you, she's pregnant at the time in the Amazon jungle. So she's like, so for example, right? Oh man, this piece of tape is so yellow, you know, and they say this tape is called, and she does that because she gets like a cramp from the baby. And I kid you not, that's how the entire piece of dialogue goes. She's like, yeah, so you know, that piece of tape is yellow. And it's, I didn't do nothing but laugh. It was like, yo, why? And it's like in the first like 10 minutes of the movie, I'm like, yo, and it's like, it's just weird, like stuff literally just happens. It just happens. And it's just like, wow, okay, like she finds the spider, and Ezekiel's like, she's like, I did it, I found the spider. Pow, 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 pow. Oh God, no, we all got shot. Oh, and now these spider people, who are they? They're coming to save us. Oh, like it's just kind of just all happens, right? And then there's like these weird camera zooms they do throughout the entire movie. Like they'll be having like the two people, Cassandra's mom and Ezekiel Sims were having a conversation the whole time. The camera's like zooming in, like these weird camera, like they're in the office, right? Like an episode of The Office or Abbott Elementary where they do like camera zoom to kind of get into the character. That's what they do, and it's so weird. Like it's just like zoom. Like it's so freaking weird, dude. I was like, what? Why are they zooming like that? That's insane. There's no reason to have these zooms like that. And they just kept doing it in and out. And they go tilt it in and out. Then they go tilt it again, in and out. Then they be straightforward. And there won't even be nothing dramatic. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you shot me. I can't believe this. Oh, what are you doing? I'm taking the spider. Just give me the spider. Just give me the. It's like, but they're not tussling or nothing. Like they're just standing there. He's pointing a gun. She's laying on the ground, helpless, shot, and it's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And another thing I don't like about this movie, because after the whole Amazon jungle thing, and then the spider people in the Amazon jungle. They help Cassandra's mom give birth to her, and somehow she ends up in the United States with a full birth certificate, social security number, all that shit. Don't know how. That's when she kind of like she sees that she can like see things in the future, so she's like this deja vu type thing, but it's like she realizes she started seeing the future. There's a moment with Mike Epps. I remember I mentioned Mike Epps in this movie. There's a moment they're all having like a barbecue. And like they're all saying like all the kind of like all the main characters are kind of like, well, not main characters, but Cassandra, Adam Scott's character, Ben Parker, his girl, and so it's like a couple other people just kind of like standing there. Well, his sister. It was his sister. his sister's like Peter's mom, which I'll touch on that in a second. So they're all like standing there and they say like this like joke, but it's like nothing about the interaction. Normally like, ha, yeah. And then who's there? Like that's just unnatural. Like even I was more natural in that imitation than they were about that in the movie. And it's just like so silent and it's just like so weird. It's like, why are they not like they're just unnatural in this? It's just like, yeah, fellow man, did you see fellow thing there, fellow human? Yes, haha, it was funny. The game, the television show, Young Sheldon. Ha 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 ha. Like it was like, what the hell? And so I was like, yo, this is like, it's laughable. Like, it's laughable. Some of the acting in this is like, are you guys okay? Like, were you just told not to be as natural as possible and just do stuff? But outside of that, like I said, like in between those things, you do have interesting moments with the future vision thing going on. And, you get some interesting character moments, but, eventually Cassandra, like it shows this, it's weird too. Cause like Cassandra ends up running into each one of the girls. She ends up running into each one of them throughout the day, but just like in different manners. Like one of them, she saved the girl's mother-in-law or stepmom during like a emergency or something, because she works at the hospital. So it's like she helped save her mother-in-law or something, like stepmom or something. The other one, she lives in the same apartment complex. And then the other one just flipped her off randomly one day. So, that's a connection. Ezekiel Sims is just like a weird ass villain, but I don't expect much. Like, his motivation was pretty clear. He wanted to stop people that was going to kill him before they killed him. So, I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Another thing I didn't really like though, like I know in the marketing they show like they show the spider people, they show like each girl dressed up in a superhero costume. I kid you not, you get that in that one scene that they show in the trailer, which is Ezekiel having that dream or explaining how he had that dream. And then you have the ending where it's just like looks like a scene from a CW show. Like I thought I was watching The Flash very quickly. And this movie also does that thing that all the Spider-Man movies do ever since the Tobey Maguire trilogy, which is they actively avoid trying to say with great power comes great responsibility. And the way that they avoid it is so dumb. I'm so tired of that. Like, it's like, yeah, if you have an amount of ability that seems greater and are equal to the amount of ability that other people have, then you have an obligation to be somewhat responsible with your life. Like that's the type of verbal loopholes they go through to say with great power comes great responsibility. I don't know why that applies to Cassandra Webb. I don't know why. It's just, I there's a lot more to say about the dislikes of this movie, but this is not the dislike shit on Madam Web show. I actually want to be fair to this movie. Like if it came out in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, this would have been a decent movie. And it's not saying that it's not a decent movie now. It's just interesting that they made this movie that is so actively connected to Spider-Man to the point where they even have in the womb Peter Parker, who they actively avoid saying his name. Like, what are you gonna name? They don't even say when the baby's born. They don't even say, "Oh, well, what did the baby end up? What did you guys name the baby?" They don't say none of that. We know it's Peter Parker. It would have been cool, but they just and Sony has this habit of like they'll market these movies like this Spider-Man connection, and then they'll erase the entire Spider-Man connection out of the movie. Which is weird. Like, why would you think that? I heard they did that with Morbius. They do that with the Venom movies. It's freaking weird. But like this movie, it's like it's not that it's terrible because I've seen worse movies, right? Like I've talked about If. Is this better than If? I had a bit more of a better time watching this one than If, but I think for the wrong reasons. So I would probably say no. But in terms of being like the worst superhero movie, there have been worse. Like, lest we forget Halle Berry's Catwoman. Like, that was bad. This was a movie that had a massive amount of potential somewhere. somewhere there was a lot of potential in this movie. Somewhere there was somebody that cared. Somewhere there was a version of this movie that showed how much it cared to be Madam Web. But this movie is just like, it's just an early 2000s movie where it's just like, we'll make a comic book movie, but we'll put our own spin on it because people don't know about comic books anyway. So we could just make this movie and now make people interested in the character and da 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 da. And I mean, I don't know. I don't really have too much to say about this film because I don't want to sit here and shit on it the whole time because it's been getting enough of that since February. And like I said, to be fair, it's not the worst thing I've seen, honestly. And that counts like anything I've ever seen in general. This is not the worst thing I've seen, but it is the most laughable movie I've seen because it's just like, why is this so low effort? Like, why is this so low effort? Like, it's just, and then there's something about these superhero wheelchairs this year that's really pissing me off because Cassandra had no reason, spoiler alert if you care, Cassandra had no reason to end up in a wheelchair at the end of this movie. None. She didn't even have a reason to be blind. I don't get why she was blind in a fucking wheelchair. But I actually say, oh, fuck you, movie. This doesn't make any sense. Oh, screw you, Madam Web, for that one. She's in a wheelchair. And it's like, God, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a movie that I don't know if it could have been better. I don't really have any tips of how it could have been better. It could have been better acted, I guess. It's just like, it just feels like nobody cared too much about this movie. They cared, but they didn't care to the point where they were out to make a good movie. This was nobody's passion project. And if it was destroyed by studio meddling, is what I would say. This is S.J. Clarkson's directorial debut, and the way this movie was just railed on, I think this might be the last movie that S.J. Clarkson ever makes. I don't. Let's see. Does she have anything coming up? No, she's mostly a TV director, and this is actually her most recent project. So I mean, I hope that she can somehow find some other feature film to direct that is more in line with what it is that she is good at and what appeals to her. I hope she finds her passion project to kind of bounce back and get the taste of this movie from her resume. But for right now, this is not a good directorial debut. And I don't know what she could have done differently. Like I said, I think that this really had a lot to do with studio meddling. It had to, because there are, like I said, there are good things, there are interesting concepts in this movie. It's just like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I can say more things that I dislike or want to joke on about this movie than I can say things that I liked and would defend in this movie. All that said, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I mean, you can watch it. It's on Netflix now. It's an hour 56 minutes long. The action sequence and the suspense leading up to the action sequences are pretty good. I will say that much. They're not bad. It's just the movie as a whole is just not the best it could have been, and I don't know how it could be any better. But I don't have anything else to really say about this film. Rotten Tomatoes, it has 11%. IMDb has 3.9 out of 10. But to be quite honest with you, I don't rate it as low as I did If, because If was a whole nother ballpark. If was like, never mind. I'll leave the If opinions to the If review. Go watch that. And you'll see how I felt about that. But with this one, I kind of feel like this was just a swing and a miss. And a big swing and a miss. Where If was just like, you swung, you hit, but the ball just didn't move. This one was just like, you swung and you just kind of really didn't hit the ball. I give it, I don't know. I'm in a good mood, but I give it like a 3.8 out of 5 stars. It was not the worst thing I've seen. If it were a different movie somehow, if this was like the early 2000s, I think this movie would have done a lot better But for 2024 with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we want our Spider-Man characters to be the MCU. So you stop that for this. It's like you take away Madam Web being in the MCU for this shit. Get it out of here. 3.8 stars. Get it out of here. So that's all I got to say about this movie, Madam Web. Like I said, it's on Netflix. You can check it out there. But other than that, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. So make sure you hit that like button down below if you enjoyed this review. Comment down below. What did you think about Madam Web? Did you think I was being too kind? Did you think I was too jolly here? Did you think I should have been mean? Put the hammer down. All right, do you think that? Yeah, no, this is fair. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie down below. Remember to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, and Twitch. And until next time, y'all, stay webby, be easy, stay breezy. Peace.